Good night. So we're going to try to determine the neutralization reaction for this question. 25 centimeters cube of solution of sulfuric acid are required for the neutralization of 40 centimeters cube of 0.035 molar dm cube of potassium hydroxide. Find the concentration of the sulfuric acid in molar per dm cube. So, step 1, you write out the equation. Just like in all my other videos, that's the first step you do. You write out your equation. And here we have sulfuric acid, aqueous solution, potassium hydroxide, aqueous solution, reacting together to produce potassium sulfate and 2 moles of water. And usually when you want to balance your equations, what I tell my students is to write all of the atoms that you have present in your equation. And in the equation, all the atoms present on the left must equal to all the atoms present on the right, and they must be the same. What you put in is what you get out. So we have hydrogen, potassium, oxygen, and sulfur atoms on the left and the same on the right. And you just balance counting down, and it makes it very easy for children who are just starting out with balancing equations. Okay, that was step 1. So for step 2, make sure that your equation is balanced, and that's exactly what we did. Step 3, note the ratios of each species. We always do that. So we have a 1 to 2 to 1 to 2 ratio of sulfuric acid to potassium hydroxide. That gives potassium sulfate and water. And then step 4, you note what the question is asking for and note what you're given. So for the first part of the question, you note that you have of KOH, potassium hydroxide, you have 40 centimeters cube, and that will give you a volume of 0.040 dm cube. And you also have 0.035 mole per dm cube, and that's the concentration. So therefore, since you have your concentration and your volume, you can determine the moles of KOH. And that's a pretty simple calculation. Go ahead, you could do it with me. You have 0.035 times 0.04. You're going to get 0.0014 moles. And that's over KOH. Now that we know this, we're going to say B. Of H2SO4, you know that you have 25 centimeters cube of it, and it was required for the neutralization of KOH. Therefore, if 1 mole of H2SO4 reacts with 2 moles of KOH, then X moles of H2SO4 will react with this very number here. Thought I wrote on my mother's sheet. That would have been horrible. Okay, so now that we have that, we can stick the number in where it says so step 5. Answer the question and determine its molar concentration in mole per dm cube. So you have moles of sulfur from the step 4, which is 0.0014 moles, and you have your volume, which is 25 centimeters cube, right? And that means in dm cube, you just simply divide by 1,000 centimeters cube and you multiply by 1 dm cube. And you notice this goes and this goes. So you should have 0.025 dm cube. And since you know the units of molar concentration, you have the moles, which is 0.0014 moles, and you have the volume 0.025 dm cube. Do you notice something? Moles over volume. That's our answer right there. So if we have that divided by 0.25, you're going to have a concentration of 0.056. mole per dm cube. And that's your answer. So basically, you could round it off to 0.06 molar dm cube. And that's a wrap. So always remember your steps. Step 1, write out the equation. Step 2, make sure that your equation is balanced. Step 3, note the ratios of each species. Step 4, note what the question is asking for and note what you're given. And step 5, answer the question and determine its molar concentration. Basically, step 5 is answer the question. So whenever you do this, you're sure to pass your test. Good night.